Hello, dear. Welcome to the House of Fogg, the creative mayhem. I'm Mrs. Vivian Grace Fogg, and it seems that I'm a little under the weather today. Oh, well, it's just a little cold. You know, these things happen. But when those days happen, the mayhem goes down a little bit and the creativity builds because I enjoy a nice cup of tea and then I pull out a favorite book to read, and that's what I'm going to do today. After all, it's so nice and quiet. Quiet. It's too quiet. Mr. Fogg's here, and oh, I hope he's here. You never know where he's at. But, no, let me see. Where would he be? Well, he can't be in the kitchen because we cleaned up all the batter off the ceiling from last time. Maybe he's in the laboratory. No, that's really quiet. So, I wonder where he's at.
Oh, hello, dear. How are you doing?
Hello, Mr. Fogg.
Oh, sorry I gave you that beastly cold.
Oh.
I got it myself when I was ice fishing with some polar bears. An exciting experience, but unfortunately I came with cold and I gave it to poor Vivian here.
Oh.
Oh, by the way, I'm Phineas Fogg, inventor extraordinaire, and this is my lovely wife, Vivian Grace Fogg.
Oh, thank you, dear.
Let's see, what would we have in store today? Oh, yes! We were going to make fireworks! Oh, very exciting! So all you need is some black powder, flash paper, maybe some bits of colored dye.
Oh, we could just have a nice cup of tea.
Oh, that's true. It is more of a down day, isn't it?
Yes,
we may have to
it's a relaxed
save that
day.
for later. Perhaps we should learn about computing today. I was going to have them crack some codes. How would that be?
That sounds wonderful, dear.
Did you know women in computing? Women have played a very important role in computing. Way back in the 1800s, the first acknowledged computer programmer was Ada Lovelace. She wrote an algorithm intended to be executed for the first modern computer, the analytical engine, which was created by Charles Babbage. Now, they were later able to actually create this computer system, and when they did that, they were able to run Ada's program. She was just a marvelous mathematician and inventor. Then you also had women helping out with the war. World War I, with the British Ministry of Munitions, Beatrice Cave Brown Cave helped calculate the trajectory for bombshells. So there was lots of help during the war with women in computing and be able to showing their mathematical prowess. This continued into the 1960s, where if you read a book called Hidden Figures, it shows you all the computers, which are just women doing calculations behind all the engineering designs for the space program. Later on into the 70s and 80s, programming became more of a man's field, but the women in it dominated in their positions. For instance, very recently, Shafi Goldwasser in 2012 was given the Turing Award for her work in cryptography. So you do have a strong history of women doing computer science, which, even though it's considered to be a man's field, is considered to also to be dominated by the thoughts and minds of women to this day. Okay, Phineas Fogg here for a brief history of computing. Now, computing started way back with, they think, the invention of the abacus. The abacus was created in ancient Greece and ancient China for counting purposes. So it's just a tiled device where you have a bead sliding back and forth to do counting. But the Chinese device could count over 6 billion. And they did that by using a binary counting system, where every bead moving back and forth was a 1 or a 0. And that's the basis for modern computing. All that modern computing is each area represents something that is either on or off. Now, jumping ahead a couple thousand years, we have our very old computing languages. One of the original computing machines was created by John Vincent Atanasoff, who created a machine for solving differential equations. It seems that some of his graduate students were taking 2 or 3 days to solve some of these things statistically, and he created a machine that could solve it in just a couple of hours, the Atanasoff-Berry computing device. That was the first specific computing device. The ENIAC, which followed that, was the first general purpose device that could run programming languages. Now, one of the first programming languages created was called COBOL, Common Business Oriented Language. You created that programs in COBOL in what were called sentences that ended in a period. So it is a very verbose language. Scientists didn't particularly like that, so they created Fortran, formula translation, which had ways to use numbers in bigger and bigger quantities. So you could have a small number computation or a big number computation with a lot of digits. Now, from then on, a lot of the other languages were created from those two. So Fortran and COBOL, they created PLI. ALGOL was created from ALGOL 60 was created from Fortran. And then you had Simula, ALGOL 68, Pascal, BCL, and Classic C, all from ALGOL. And then we created on from Simula, which created Smalltalk and Ada 89. You notice most of the computer languages were created from other languages. So that's how you get started with a language. Now, in the 80s, there was a movement to start all over again from scratch. So you had things like PHP and JavaScript, but you also had a language called Python, which has become very, very popular. Python decided, okay, let's look at everything we've done before, but let's scrap it, start all over again with some guiding principles, and make programming a little easier for people to read. So for the Python language, which really got into being around the year 2000, it had some standard principles. 1, beautiful is better than ugly. 2, explicit is better than implicit. 3, simple is better than complex. 4, complex is better than complicated. And 5, readability counts. So in this language, the syntax of the language involves short little bits of code, but the code is fairly easy to read and you have to watch your tabbing. Tabbing is important because you have to keep your code looking nice. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to make a short program using Python. Hello, Mrs Fogg here. Let's get started with Python. Now, to use Python, you need to download a Python interpreter. To do that, go to python.org and then slide under downloads, and it should recommend one. This was recommending Python 3.10.4. Click on it and download it to your machine. Take all the defaults. Get your parents to help you with it if you're having trouble downloading. Once you have that installed, you should have a program called idle. I'm going to start idle here so you can see it. There's idle. Looks like that. That means you have Python up and running. And you can actually put Python commands directly in. Like one of the first commands you usually learn is the print command. Print, open parentheses, single quote, hello world, exclamation mark, single quote, close parentheses. If you just put in commands, you can actually just run them. There it is, hello world. You've written your first Python program. Now, after you've played around with this some, you might want to write a little bigger program. To do that, you actually want to create what is called a file. So I'm going to do File, New File. And this is where you can do a series of commands in a row. Now, I've already got some written, so let me bring out one of my ones that are already written. So take a look at this one. It says print hello, food equals input, what is your favorite place to eat? Now notice this print is surrounded by parentheses, has single quotes here. This food is what is called a variable. It's someplace we're going to store a value, like a parking space. We're naming this parking space food, and we're going to put into it some input, and we're going to prompt the person, what is your favorite place to eat? Notice we put that in single quotes and put that in parentheses. And then the next line, print, I like, open print, single quote, I like, close print, comma, food, comma, single quote, to, single quote, and parentheses. So if we run that, what's your favorite place to eat? I will say McDonald's. It says, I like McDonald's too. Very agreeable, this program. Now, if you make a mistake, like you forget this ending single quote, and you try to run it, you'll get an error message. So this little error thing will pop up. End of line while scanning string literal. Hard to understand, but it marks about the right point. So all it's saying is, you just need to put that in there. Or if, say, you indent something that shouldn't be indented. So I'm going to tab in there one, and then run the program. Unexpected indent. Python's very touchy. It wants all the commands in lowercase, and it doesn't want anything indented that shouldn't be indented. So try out this program. Just type it in. And when you're ready, let's move on to another program. Here's your second program. Print hello. We're taking food for input. What is your favorite food? Just like before. And now we have something new. This is an if statement. If food equals pizza, so if they put in the word pizza in lowercase letters, colon, print out I love pizza too. And then if they didn't put out the word pizza, this is not equal to, this is two equal signs there, print out food, whatever they entered, is okay, but pizza is better. So if I run that one, what is your favorite food? I will put nachos. Nachos is okay, but pizza is better. Very opinionated program, this one. Let's run it again. What's your favorite food? Pizza. I love pizza too. So this allows the computer system to allows Python to either print out this one or this one based upon your input. So it says if whatever they put in is equal to pizza, do this one. This one says if it's not equal to pizza, do that one. So now you've added an if statement. If statements allow the program to run non-sequentially, so it doesn't have to go all in a line. Okay, let's do one more program. This is the code cracking program I wanted to show you at the very beginning. Okay, now I know this looks really complicated, but don't let that upset you. So this is a number guessing game. This line is a comment. If you put a pound sign on a line, it makes that line into the rest of the line into a comment. Import random simply means we're going to use the random number generator. Random.randint 1, 99 says pick a random number between 1 and 99 and put it into picked. This is another commented out line that just tells me which number it picked. So I'm going to open that up right now. It's used for what is called debugging, so looking for the bugs in a program. Print, enter a number between 1 and 99 to open the safe. So guessed, they're going to put in a number between 1 and 99. We're going to convert it into an int and stick it into the space called guessed. And here's the new statement, while. So this makes a loop, so you notice it's indent. So we're going to do all these statements until this turns out to be false. So while picked is not equal to guessed, so we haven't guessed the right number, print if guessed is less than picked, you print out your guess is too low. If guessed is greater than picked, you print out your guess is too high. And then guessed equals another input, you have them put in the number again. So they keep guessing here until they guess the right number. At the end, you put out, you have guessed the number. The safe is now open. So let's try cracking the safe here. Enter a number from 1 to 99. Now here, you notice I put out the number. So we know it's 41, so I'm going to guess 42. Your guess is too high. I'll guess 40. Your guess is too low, so I'm testing out the program. Then there's 41. It didn't work right. It was supposed to say that we got it correct. So there's something wrong in our program. So if I look back in my program, I can see where the problem is. I say if picked is not equal to guessed, guessed less than picked, your guess is too low, guessed greater than picked, your guess is too high, but this is the word guess, and I needed guessed. Now in Python, you can pick any name you want for your parking space, and as soon as you use it, that's the type of variable that has to be in there. So now if I've got guessed in there and I save it, and then I run the program. So we're going to try 12, so let's try 13. Number is too high. Let's try 11. Number is too low, but if I say 12, you have guessed the number. The safe is now open. So let's try it for real now. We're going to comment out this line and run the program. Enter number between 1 and 99. Okay, my safe cracking ability here. I'm going to start at 50. We'll try 59. Is too low. So I'm going to go higher. I'm going to go 79. Still too low. I will go 99. That's too high. So I'll go 90. Too low. 95. Too high. I wonder if Mrs. Fogg did this one. 93. Too high. 92. So I'm zeroing in on it. So what I was trying to do is half the distance each time. So 59 is near the center. It's too low. Keep moving up. Keep halving the distance mathematically. But we opened the safe. Congratulations. So go ahead, play around with this program. It's a fun one to play around with. Or try out some of the other ones. And I encourage you to keep working on your Python programming skills. There's lots of good Python tutorials out there, especially on YouTube. All right, should probably get back to Mrs. Fogg now.
Oh, welcome back, dears. I hope you had a fabulous time with Mr. Fogg and talking about computers and languages. Well, I enjoyed my day just relaxing and getting lost in some wonderful books. I need to share them with you. So please check out these books. They are so much fun. Hermelian the Detective Mouse, as told by Minnie Gray. Keep Your Eye on the Prize, written by Barbara Isham, illustrated by Mike Gordon. Fairy Science, written by Ashley Spires. Those 3 books are just so wonderful.
They are excellent, dear, and I think they need to find new homes.
Oh, yes, but how shall we do that?
How about we ask a couple of trivia questions about this week's episode, and if you answer them correctly, we'll put you into a drawing for the books.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. I hope you paid attention.
Okay, well, we're going to do the drawing at closing ceremony. Now, here's question number 1. What was one of the original programming languages?
Ooh, I know that one.
Do you remember? All right, question 2. Who was the acknowledged first computer programmer? I'll give you a hint. It was a woman.
Wonderful, wonderful.
So, put your 2 answers together and take them down to the hub to be in the drawing for one of the books.
We'll have little slips there that you can fill out.
Should be excellent.
So, but thank you. Thank you for joining us for House of Fogg Creative Mayhem.
And reminder, be with us next time. Next time, I'm going to show you how to both clean a carburetor and how to take your car really fast in the desert, spray sand up in the air, and have a nice physics arc. It'll be amazing.
Why don't we do something about space?
That would be fun too. Ooh, let's do space instead.
All right. Well, thank you again for joining us.
Thank you again for joining us. Ta-ta!